Right.
And we're live. Hello, everyone. How are we?
Good. How are you? Hello, everyone.
I know.
Hey, everybody.
It feels like, it feels
How
like
y'all
the
doing?
week has really dragged, hasn't it?
The week dragged. I thought today was Thursday. I didn't realize it was Friday. I skipped Wednesday for the past 4 years.
Short week, work a short week. That's good. Like,
Oh my.
Yeah,
You're
well,
avoiding hump day.
Well,
Avoiding
absolutely.
show.
Well,
I'm going to leave it that way.
Yeah.
yeah, well, everyone. There is supposed to be 7 of us on camera, but there's only 4. We don't know where Andrea Evans's guest is. We don't know where she is. Point the other way, Andrea. And then we don't know where Dr. Lorraine Harris is. And Stephen Smith is going to be a few minutes late. So we're just going to kick start with our video, and then we'll dive into it. Everyone share the shit out of this, because we've never covered this topic before about racism. So, yeah, so we will see you in about 30 seconds. Please share this. And welcome back. I want to kick start with you, Andrea Evans, because it was you that come up with this recommendation to talk about this. So, kick us off. Ooh, tech issues. No. Can't have tech issues now.
shit.
And welcome everyone, by the way. Andrea, can you hear us? Don't think she can hear us.
She's waving.
I don't know. But anyway, when Andrea sorts StreamYard out, let's just get started with all this about racism. So, Andrea.
Yes. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen.
Go on.
So the biggest idea that we have programmed in our mind is that racism solely, I guess, addresses Black and white. Well, I want to make it clear that there's a lot more in depth to racism as opposed to the pigment of our skin. It goes a deeper dive to age, socioeconomical status, race, creed, belief, morals, ethics, values, educational knowledge, as well as your relationship by association. So when we are able to realize that racism doesn't have a particular definition between two particular groups or two particular identities, then we are ready to really face it full force and up front. I'm going to pass the mic to Andrea, as I believe her mic is valid, and have her finish. Back to you, Andrea. Okay, I thought she was here. I thought I heard some rumbling.
It's not my fault, by the way.
Not mine. Okay, so yeah, so basically in a nutshell, there she goes, peekaboo. Basically in a nutshell, racism is just not the division between two entities. It has myriad of levels as well as sub-levels, as well as different character traits, beliefs, and creeds. So
Absolutely.
having start that, I'm going to pass it to you, Adam, to kind of field and delegate the next part.
Yeah, absolutely. And it feels like this is a news report, you know. but yeah, it's all about that diverse community, where society still hold that stigma surrounding all these, whether it's age, sexuality, religion, beliefs, all that. And I know Nick did an article surrounding all this. So, what do you think, Nick, when you hear about the word racism?
Uh, yeah, so I very much sort of write and talk a lot about sort of influencing people. You know, influencing is a positive, using influence skills to positively influence others and make change in society. And I've written a few books on it, and I was asked a couple of years ago to write a contributing article to a book here. I think that, yeah, I mean, racism, like a lot of prejudices and discrimination, can and does have effect on people's mental health. And I think of, especially people who are vulnerable in society and have challenges which affect their mental health, which is obviously a huge problem. I think then, racism just has an extra layer, that extra extra aspect. I think that it's like, as Andrea said, we like a lot of things, we think it's very simple in definition and black and white, but I think it's actually more complex than that. And these things often do overlap, with discrimination on race or way we view in race, but then also tying to how we view people on gender and age, and I think that's the thing, they often overlap, and in a way people perceive others and get treated. So yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, it's just all about how to try and remove that diverse, I'm going to say it bluntly, that diverse ego from these stereotypes, to obviously to pretty much accept people for the way they are.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think one of the key components is what Nick, and I'm sure Andrea would agree, as well as Adam, is, one of the things that I've learned in my journey in my life is that everything that we do, believe, behave has been taught some way, shape, or form, whether we accept it or not. And it's a matter of a choice to decide, are we going to comply, or are we going to, deny it within our lives? And when we are constantly influenced, manipulated, and steered in a certain way that, racism is either this or this, it goes back to the understanding of the root word of what it is, understanding of the meaning, and understanding the generational gap that it has affected our family and friends throughout the years, decades, and centuries. Because there was a time, I truly believe and would love to bring back, is, unity, when we were able to, have a village raise a child. And now it's kind of like, if you're not conforming to what I believe or what I feel or my morals, ethics, and values, then you're outcasted and you're in the wrong.
Yes.
And I want to make it clear that I say this in everything that I speak of, because I'm very particular with my words. There's 3 areas and choices that you can partake in. For those regulars, you've heard me say this in every segment. You can be proactive, inactive, or just watch everything go by and you have no right to complain. And when we start looking at each other's as individuals of areas of improvement and have key tools and tips, and allowing ourselves to think outside the box of a different perspective, a different avenue, a different perception, if you will, then you really realize that the division boundary line is very, very thin. I've been speaking on a global platform for years now, and what media and the external influences had shown me about the brother and sister in countries and continents worldwide was this is one way, this is the other. But as I got to interact, connect, communicate, listen, understand, and represent, I learned that there's three things in the world that we all want: respect, unconditional love, and to be heard.
Absolutely. And I want to welcome back Andrea and Dr. Lorraine Harris. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Hi, everybody. Sorry I'm late, but you know me. I love to make an appearance. I love a good entrance. So no, I'm sorry. I was on a call. So
Absolutely. Yeah. See, he's a busy guy. What do you expect? No, we were just talking about how society with their egos are actually portraying racism to be horrible when in reality it should be the opposite. So what? And it's obviously, I know I'm not gonna be like this, but racism isn't just about colour of your skin. It's a wide perspective of all this. So what's your views on this?
okay, can you just like talk a little and let me warm up? It's like you come from outside and your hands are cold. You're not supposed to put it right under the hot water. So you go like this. Let me do this real quick by sitting here.
See,
like,
I get shouted at from Andrea, I get shouted at from Lorraine. Here we go.
Just put some energy out there real quick that I can ride on.
Well, either way, just for you, Lorraine, Robert Brooker's tuned in. And he's actually put a comment. I do not. I'm actually going to put it on. What's all your views on that?
See, let me just say this about Robert. See,
here we go.
No, Robert is way brighter than I am. So I'm intimidated right now I'm like, classism. What's that? Right? Robert, I'm just saying. And Robert, thank you so much for all your support. But where are you in the conversation is what I'm saying. I don't want to just like go that way when you're going that way.
No, we were basically just introducing to what racism actually is in a nutshell and how it can actually impact someone's mental well-being. Because it could be to do with age, gender, sexuality, even the education.
Right. I just saw something where I was telling my husband, what is it? Something, it's kind of like, I'm probably getting it wrong, but the gist of it was, it was bias. There it is. It said bias is when you think you know something about someone before you get to know them. And so isn't that the same thing about racism? Where you think you know something about someone before you even get to know them?
It comes back to that saying, doesn't it? Judging book by its cover.
Yeah. Because racism is like religion. Oh, she's Muslim? Oh my God, not a Jehovah's Witness. Get down. You never want them to see you walk. Here they come to knock on the door. I'm not kidding you. My mom's just like, here come the Jehovah's Witnesses. Everybody get down. And we would like crawl from the living room to the kitchen. Because you see what I'm saying? It was wrong. That was wrong, but we were trained that way.
Yeah.
But then they'd be the very ones. Now, and that's another thing. But then let it be us going out, Seventh-day Adventist. We were in the same category with Scientologists, the Jehovah's Witnesses, all the extreme groups. Seventh-day Adventists, our religion was in there, but they didn't feel that way. Get down, like when they had us knocking on doors, pushing our religion on people. And as children, we saw it. How come we have to get on the floor when the Jehovah's Witnesses come? But when you ask adults that, why are you always asking questions that don't make any sense? Go outside and play with the kids or something. I was that kid that would get that. But that was
Andrea, mute yourself.
Yeah, that wasn't happening until she got. Are you wearing a wire, Andrea? I'm gonna have to leave if you are. I'm kidding. A wire. But you see what I'm saying? That was racism, because here's another reason I say that. It makes me look at what I was taught through a lens of it was just the way it was. I didn't choose that. It was chosen for me. But nonetheless, I should look to what's in my eye before I start pointing to what's in Nick's or Andrea's two Andreas. Oh boy. So what are we saying? Andrea E and Andrea M?
Right.
Okay.
I got this wrong first time I ever come across it. Andrea Evans, who's playing hide and seek at the minute, that's Andrea. The other one is Andrea.
Oh, got it. Oh.
Yeah, she shouted at me when I called her Andrea.
And Nick and I are the only two whose names don't start with A. So therefore, we are yet another race within this. You see what I'm saying? So let me just say this and I'm going to shut up. What I love about that right there, it was like cute and clever and all that. I get it. But it's true, because what I'm doing to fight what we're here to talk about is, instead of saying, oh, look, the three of them have A names and we're left out, Nick. No, Nick and I we're in a world that y'all can't come in, because our world is any names that don't start with A. You see what I'm saying? So we're not less than, we're a majority too. So it's about looking for things that are similar, is what I'm saying. What kind of connection is there with anything or any person, or not? That's all.
Yeah, what do you think, Andrea?
Well, I think, you know, it can be more personal from one person to the next. And I say that because I'm gonna throw the word out there, gaslighting. That happens to me a lot. When I come and try to present to people of power, and it's usually the white women that come for me. I don't know if I intimidate them or make them feel uncomfortable, but I get attacked personally. What about that? Is that classist? Is that, am I looking?
Let's throw in. Yeah, I think there's a fear of differences. We fear things are different, and we should obviously move towards celebrating the differences. And I think that the problem is when we fear people are different to us. Whether it's race or different class, or I think when actually we should be celebrating differences and what differences contribute, and they all equally contribute something. Just go back to Andrea Mason's point. I mean, yeah, if we look at these things change historically. I mean, certainly in Britain in the 70s, when I think it was accepted, sexism and racism was accepted as part of society, and that's the way it was, and that was normal, and that's how it would always be. But then obviously it's changed over decades by challenging it. And I think it's these things only change if you constantly challenge it. Otherwise, the state things carry on the same. So I think that's what we have to just constantly obviously challenge these sort of thoughts. So that's just something I like to.
Yeah,
I'm an educator on this. I educate people how to treat people better. Department of Behavioral Health here, our school system, and now I've been appointed to the Supreme Court Commission on the Courts Equity Subcommittee. And when you sit there and talk about you want equity and fairness, and then you look back and say, okay, we've been sitting here talking for 20 years. And then when you bring that about, guess what? As the Black woman, I'm going to get attacked, and they're going to look at me like I'm the mad Black woman, when it's really passion. I mean, it's real. And it would be nice to celebrate differences, because that's what I teach with my nonprofit and anti-bullying and all of that. And, looking at the things that we have in common. And I do that at the beginning of every one of my groups. we might ask whose favorite color, or what type of a fruit do you like, or what's your favorite food. Guess what? That I use that so that we can come together and say, look, we have this in common. Oh, you like the color purple?
Yeah. Well, we understand where she's coming from with this, but obviously, Lorraine,
Differences, they're not
reintroduced to
celebrated.
Stephen.
Hey, welcome.
Steven.
Made it. Thank you for having me here. I'm really glad to be a part of this the show this evening.
It's not
You're
that
most
easy.
welcome. Right. I'm going to cause a little bit of heat and I'm going to throw it over to you, Stephen.
Right? Very good.
I heard that laugh then, Andrea. Right. We all know there was a division in society when it comes to all these kind of religions and cultures. We get that. But what is your view, right? Do you think it's racism towards different cultures and religions ever since Black Lives Matter was created? Now, the reason I'm saying that is because I understand why it was created, but obviously this is why I always stand for, instead of Black Lives Matter, should be All Lives Matter.
But all lives can't matter unless Black lives matter. If all lives really mattered, then George Floyd wouldn't have got murdered, and neither would have Ahmaud Arbery, if all lives matter. So when you're looking at that, you have to look at it from a true heart, and you have to look at it like this. If all lives matter, then Black lives would matter. And if Black lives matter, then why are we still talking about racism and dealing with the deaths, which are modern day lynchings in America today? There's still people dying at the hands of what they believe are racist police. So
and that also goes global. If you want to really be going back to what Adam said, all lives matter, that's all global. Because you're talking about Asia, you're talking about Africa, you're talking about China, you're talking about Australia. I mean, it should be all lives matter. And to direct it as it was initiated from Adam, Stephen, definitely welcome your feedback with that.
Andrea, mute yourself.
Oh, please.
Yeah, there's a little bit of echo I heard. Not sure whether that's coming off of my end or just
no, it's been coming. It's been happening.
Okay.
We know.
Yeah.
Andrea, hi.
So go on, Lorraine. I want to hear your views on that.
Oh, I'm not butting in, but I got to say this seriously, because I'm a big champ. I'm gonna tell you, I don't mind about the energy thing and this, that, and the other. But what I try not to do is sit up and have a topic. I don't care if it's an hour or 10 minutes or a minute, and it starts feeling like it goes to the very things down the very roads that I sit and say, how does that serve us? What's happening right there? How does that serve us? So I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to just shut up for a minute. First of all, I got to bring in the 4 agreements. Be impeccable with your word. Don't make assumptions. Don't take anything personal, and always do your best. Start with those pillars.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? And I see you shaking your head over there, Andrea, and I'm not picking on you, but I'm just putting this out there. My birth mother said something to me in the first 3 minutes of us being reunited after 32 years. When they took me off of her chest after I was delivered, the woman that took me just kept going. So 32 years later, we were back together again. It was a long minute when you think your baby's going to get cleaned up and they're bringing him back. Didn't happen. First thing she said to me was, let me just tell you this. You, to everybody, they didn't know you existed or they thought you were dead or whatever, 32 years. But let me tell you something. You're going to hear a lot of stuff, son. None of it should make you feel any kind of way, because if something doesn't make sense to you, never forget it's because it ain't got shit to do with you. It's somebody else's problem. Don't try to figure it out. So I'm going to tell you something. When it comes to people doing what you expressed, Andrea Evans, it used to bother me back when I believed in a thing called haters. But I remember the day when that switched for me, and I didn't even plan it. It was on some kind of interview. I think it was Huffington Post. And she goes, how do you handle haters? And I was like, how in the world am I supposed to? I know. I ain't had none. She's like, everybody says, I have it. Because that's a choice. I may have a boatload of closet fans, They love me, but they just don't know it yet. That's my job. Because I don't want people to just follow me because I said something. I want them to follow me because they saw some footprints. Watch my feet. Don't watch my mouth. And so I'm going to say this. I'm not, see, here's why I'm trying to change the course of this in here for this hour. Because, see, people will say, I ain't surprised that that's what it sounded like, because that's what they expect to happen when we have these conversations. But see, and when you get surprised, when that stuff happened, I got away from that. I got it too. Angry black man, it was my passion. But I stopped being surprised at it when it happened. And then, because when it surprised you, well, what am I supposed to do? I can't believe they unmitigated God, take your pick. But if I expect it, because I got to know, if I know something and that means that somebody doesn't. Because if we're the exact same person, that just means one of us is unnecessary. So I have to know to expect that behavior, because that's who I'm here to serve. I know this so I can give it to you. So when something makes you, or somebody makes you feel a certain kind of way because of something they don't know better. Because if they knew better, they'd choose better. Haven't you every time, eventually? So that's all. I just want to say that. And then again, don't forget this too when she comes back. This for everybody. And then I'm done. I can be done for the rest of the hour. I've said my piece. But Andrew, remember this. No matter where we find ourselves, it is always our duty, our responsibility to condition people how to treat us. It's the only way to find your way from where you've been tolerated, so you can consistently navigate through a world where you are celebrated. And with that, I'm done.
I do have a response to that, Loren, with one question. Are we listening to Loren Harris, or are we listening to Les Brown?
Les is in my phone, but he's not in this chair. I'll tell you that. And I don't know why you said that, because I didn't take any of that content from anybody. So I don't know what you mean by that, but I'm going to tell you something. See, there it is. And there it is. You see what I'm saying? I ain't going to let nobody put anything on top of my originality, because listen, this is my divine journey. You don't get to cut baby's hair. Nobody. I don't care if this is your show. No. What I'm saying is, this is what we're talking about. So, because sometimes when people, like, if I took that, what you said, some kind of way, that's because there's something about it shouldn't bother me. But what I am saying to you is this. Know this. When you know you're celebrated, it's because people will come into your space and still you can say, no, don't put your fingerprints all over my divine journey. Not from here. If you want to support me, let me feel your fingerprints underneath. That is helping. That is rising up. So what I'm saying is, no, it's not Les Brown. Les Brown is Les Brown. Don't get it twisted. Yeah. It is my obligation, no matter how it leaves you sitting there. It wasn't my intention to make you feel this way, but nonetheless, that's just how it is.
Oh, I know,
but that's what we got to understand. Yeah. Andrea won't be feeling like she feels. Andrea, I'm sure she felt it. She looked definitely a woman of color. Nick, nobody. Then what's he got to worry about? What is he? Steven, white men that have it all, this, that, and privilege. We don't know. They have gone through all kinds of things just like we have.
Lauren, there's no privilege here involved.
I know, but people are prejudiced and think that. They assume is my point. And it's not true. Nick, it's not true about you.
And it goes back to perception versus perspective. Perception is about the information that you are interpreting, as Dr. Loren says, your morals, your ethics, your background, is a perspective. But the perception is the information and data-driven information of the external influences. And I totally agree with you, Dr. Loren, is that, we are giving permission, whether you want to believe it or not, man, we're giving permission for that person to treat you that way, regardless of the history books. Yes, it's factual. But are you going, as Dr. Les Brown, he's my coach, are you going through it or are you growing through it? And you have to make a stand in your own mind, being comfortable with being uncomfortable. And if you don't have that, then you're going to let the world run you. I didn't experience prejudice until I went to school outside the States. And I didn't think nothing of it. I was an adoptee. I'm from the cartel during Colombia, South America. I was born into it and I was raised in an Americanized family. Grateful, unconditional love. But I had my trials and tribulations. But it wasn't until which I'm again, Dr. Loren, the 4 agreements, I instilled those and tattooed those on my heart because that was what I was in alignment with. And then when I realized it's not a reflection of me, it's a reflection of them. But I do have a choice as an accountability and a responsible individual to allow them, to give power to them to treat me that way. And it doesn't have to be violence. It doesn't have to be hate. It doesn't have to be stigmatism. It doesn't have to be something defense. You just meet the person eye to eye in a civil, respectful manner, because what's triggering you is something that you have not faced your past or somebody has taught you how to learn until you develop your own identity through that life's adversities.
Very good.
Y'all make it sound quite easy. You know,
I never said it was
y'all
easy.
make it sound easy. You make it sound easy. You know, but the thing is, I'm a human being with a heart. And yes, people can hurt me and words can hurt me. And that doesn't mean I'm not tough. And that doesn't mean I'm not doing my job in making that change happen. I do understand that it's a part of the territory. And I'm a tough cookie, but I still have a heart. And it's easy, I think, to say, well, I'm not going to let it affect me. But it's going to affect you one way or the other. At some point.
And Andre, you're right. But think about it. Like, think about the topic, the title to this hour: racism and mental health. Now, wait a minute. It's no different. We are in mental health different ways. That's why we're in there. But that piece called racism, I'm gonna read off some places. Tell me if the place changes, but the racism face doesn't. Racism in churches, racism in schools, racism in your house, racism in heaven, racism in Walgreens, racism in a Pinto, racism in a coma. All those faces changed, but the thing that stayed the same, racism is the same no matter where you find it. So somebody has, wherever somebody is, there's been some form of it there. Because trust me, it is an equal opportunity employer. Just it's easier for some of us just to say, there, see, it's me. More than you. It doesn't come in pints, quarts, or gallons. Shit is shit. Evil is evil. Dark is dark. But let me tell you something. Here's how we change it, because we're the ones here, the mental health warriors. I'll tell you why, how we do that. We're proving to people that hurt people just don't hurt people. We're showing to people, even with mental health issues and this and all the stuff, trauma and this and the other, hurt people, heal people. I'm going to lead with that one. Every time someone says hurt people. Well, don't forget the other part of that row, row, row your boat stanza. And hurt people also heal people.
Exactly.
See what I'm saying? Now the focus is there. I'd rather change through that door than think, how do I change racism? You get rid of the dark by turning up the light. Yep. Everything I came to this world and everything that we do together, we take the dimmer switch and just push it up. Keep pushing it up. Keep pushing it up.
Yeah, absolutely. So what do you think, Stephen?
Well, I think, the only thing that I do is try and potentially inspire others, to achieve a higher level of existence, to be honest with you. I'm the first one to admit, have I made mistakes? I absolutely positively have. Had I been racist? Absolutely. When I was a kid, we were telling jokes that were racist. It's like, but I'm not like that anymore. I believe everybody has a right to be on this earth and say what they think. Certainly it can offend people at times. That's normal, because I'm offended at times, but I found that offense is very short-lived, because I've been training myself to not be affected by what other people think and simply try and keep on going on what I think is right. And I might be right or be wrong. But listen to others. I was grateful to be invited to do a review of a book 2 or 3 years ago that was specifically about racism, and I was honored to be involved in it. And it was good, and I think that it needs to be addressed because the fact of the matter is that there are a lot of people out there that are prejudiced or have a beef, and they take it out on others. And I think that Dr. Lauren is correct that it is their own problem that they haven't addressed, and so they um, project it onto others. And as a result of projecting it onto others, you can certainly affect that person, uh, most likely in the negative way, because not everybody knows what we know about not taking it personally and listening to others. Not everybody knows that, but I know that when you do that, that's a really big factor in overcoming situations that can tend to put us back.
Mm,
About what I've got to say, I think, yes.
Don't take
absolutely.
it personal when people, I mean, people are dying every day because of hate. You can't, I
Yes.
mean, and I have sons, and so I do consider them and
Hmm.
what that means.
Just yeah, I mean, as Andrea said, I mean, of course, these things are
I have to be
personal.
careful, on the information I give my sons. You know what I'm saying? When you stop in a car, there's a certain way that we have to tell our children how to act. Hands on the steering wheel, don't do sudden movements. This is real, guys. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, go on, Nick.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, we shouldn't, this, of course, this sort of behaviour, is upsetting if you're suffering bullying or treated differently because you have a mental health challenge or because your race or your gender or of course these are gonna be upsetting and traumatic for you, and I think recognizing that's right, it should be, we shouldn't be getting to a stage where we think, oh, those words don't affect us. Of course they do, and that's the whole point. I think the thing is that if we experience this, perhaps like Andrea said, is by sharing these experiences and keeping it talking and saying, well, this isn't acceptable, this is how I was treated, this is how I felt. That's the point. It's not, we shouldn't be reducing it to, well, if it shouldn't affect us, it's just words. Well, no, words are powerful and they can be potentially damaging words. So I think it's recognizing that and being open about it and sharing those experiences and passing it on and saying, because it's as long as unacceptable behavior is happening and it's negatively happening to people, then we should talk about it. We should be, I think it's
Health warriors do, and that's what I think. That's what's so exciting about this particular program is just that we are here to try and help others, and that you can reach out to the mental health warriors or someone of your choice to get our perspective, to be there for support and love and caring for you. And I think that's really one of the best things you can possibly do for yourself is to reach out to others, um, and save people. I mean, sometimes people aren't safe, or you think they are, and the next thing you know, they blow your mind. But that's all part of an experience. And personally, I believe that we go through all experiences so that we can learn and grow. And if we learn and grow, then we'll become better. But if you don't learn from it, like for a long time, making the same mistake over and over and over, or the same choice over and over, you don't get a different result. You think.
You know what, Stephen? You've hit it bang on the head there. This is all an experience, and don't just, I'm not even going to say hate it, but when people say, oh, I'm struggling with this, yeah, people struggle, fair enough, but they suffer with it, suffer that. In my view, nobody suffers. We're all experiencing all these challenges. Like Andrea, you were just saying to Kerry not long ago when she was talking about BPD, don't let that impact you. That's what I say to her on a freaking daily basis. but it's all about how we respond to these. And when I was just listening to all you lot, one thing come to me: racism equals ego. That's what I think.
I think ego has a lot to do with how people connect. Absolutely. I've read books about
Yes.
I had to rein myself in straight up because I had an ego. I needed to let go of that part. That's not really me. What really me is what I think personally God wants for me. And in a spiritual sense, I think that we're here to serve, like Dr. Lauren mentioned. That is part of my goal, is to be a servant to others. When I am, it's gratifying, and it might help somebody. That's what the hope is. And even if I only help one person in my entire lifetime, that's a win. That's a big win. That's what I'm trying to do, just to help us.
Yeah, go on, Lorraine.
Okay, I know what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I know you're dying to respond to me, but well, go on.
No. I'm just listening for a second. I'll say this. I really hope that no matter what each of us chooses to do at any given moment regarding these things here today, because it's one thing when we're here on the screen, but it's what we do when no one is watching. I'm just going to keep it real. The universe, source, God, it knows our hearts. And so, knowing that, I say this, the ethnic part is racism based on the color of your skin or something. But Martin Luther King said, where he was working for a day when it wasn't about the color of your skin, but rather the content of your character. So the color of your skin is the ethnic race. The content of your character is the human race. And so I'm just saying, it's just like I can choose mental health or I can choose mental wealth. Changes my narrative. So I don't choose ethnic race. I choose human race. I don't choose just any old space. I choose sacred space. I don't choose fond memories. I choose divine memories. And I don't collect good friends. I collect blessed friends. It is a choice. And that's why I don't say it's my ego. I don't say it's my intention. I don't say it's whatever. I say it's choice. Because no matter what I have, if it's working or not, I have it because I chose it. Yep. Even those things that, well, what about before we get to choose? Well, once you either choose to do something with it or not. So again, you're facing choice.
And that's what I say to my kids all the time. Like, I know I'm repeating myself here, but with my two older kids, they're practically preteens. They really are. And yes, they've already developed that little bit of an ego, which all teenagers do. But like my daughter, 10-year-old daughter, her older brother annoys her. And yeah, she starts shouting, but I stop it straight away. And I always say, yes, he's annoyed you. But at the end of the day, why are you letting his behaviour, his choice affect you? Rise above it and start loving your life.
Yes.
Now, I didn't say I don't rise above it. I never once said that. I do rise above it. And that's why I'm an educator in it. That's why they look to me. That's why I'm appointed to the Supreme Court to help equity.
Andrea, wait a minute.
But the work
he didn't say
is
your
not
name.
easy by no means. And what
Andrea,
I'm saying
I didn't
is,
say about
you. Didn't say your name.
I make a difference every single day.
Girl.
When it comes to racism.
Andrea.
And I didn't say anybody
I didn't
said
mention
my
your
name.
Andrea, I didn't mention your name.
I know you didn't, but you know what? I'm saying what I want to say right now. Is that okay?
See, that's why she keep getting interrupted. I wondered what was going on. Universe doesn't play. I'm just keeping it real.
Okay. I didn't say anybody said any. I didn't say, no one said my name, and I'm not taking anything personal. Please know that. That's what I'm saying. I hear the talk, and everyone's talking about doing something with it, how you respond. And so I'm telling you, I'm sharing with you how I respond. I'm not taking anything personal, y'all.
I've just what I might. I mean, following
Girl.
what Dr. Lawrence said, that
Your
it is
echo,
really
yeah.
hard to influence other people sometimes. It's hard to change people's opinions, but actually what Lauren is saying about, if you have the right values, if you can influence others by living in a way that's true to yourself, and you deep down know that you're proud of having values, and then what you can you're always gonna in life, you're always gonna come across people who are prejudiced or insecure, or but if you can, if the one thing you have control over in life is your own values and the way you treat others, and it's not easy. This is no, of course, and we could simplify it, but this is not an easy thing, and there's no one easy answer. But the one thing you have control over, at least, is how your values, how you treat others. And I think that Dr. so poetically put it,
Right. That's
all those
exactly
things he
right.
said, that's what is the important thing, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's
Andrea,
few people. Oh, sorry, doctor. Go ahead.
I would
No,
just say
there's
this, Andrea. I just want you to know this too. Girl, I'm black too on here. Okay. I wait. But the thing is, what you talking about is real, it's real. We had grandparents, great grandparents. I had a great grandfather was hung on his wedding day, my grandmother's husband, for not averting his eyes on a sidewalk from a white woman. Okay, so they had to struggle too. I'm just saying. But if everybody's been focusing on it's about this, and it didn't change. That's why I've referenced Martin.
yes.
Not the color of the skin. That's not. I won't get here. I may not get there with you. He knew this was going to take some damn time.
It does take time.
But it's the
Yeah.
content of your character. All I'm saying is this. I don't think it would be so on the surface with you. Now I am talking about you. It wouldn't be so on the surface, so sensitive, where your filters and lenses.
Oh boy, universe is acting up, y'all.
I'm innocent.
You done
Well, when he
froze.
comes back when he comes back, what I want to say is the fact that the reason why our frequency and we are becoming reactive is because it is not resolved. And it is about character. It is about, how you present yourself behind the screen, integrity, and what the greats say, especially my coach, Dr. Les Brown, energy flows where focus goes. So a testament to what Dr. Lauren is saying, if we focus on this, we're dismissing the whole mission. We need to find out the inner being that makes me want to connect with Adam, and me connect with Nick, and me to have Stephen in my corner, and Doctor to be in my corner, and Andrea. So we got to stop being on the defense mode, because that is validating every single stereotype, every single bigot, every single thing that is happening in this world. We need to stand
And
up.
if it could happen,
No one said anything about being on the defense, because when it comes to being on the defense, it's not that. It's not that. That's not what I'm speaking of. I'm not being on the defense. When you don't know how I move when it's happening in a room full of people in a meeting. I'm grateful.
But it wasn't happening in here.
But
it wasn't happening in here.
But the thing is, you're misunderstanding me. Or you're assuming things a little further into, and I didn't say any of that. I didn't even say. All I said is you can feel it. People have feelings. You talking about being a human? Guess what? I'm a human.
Did we not?
I'm a human. And this is the work that I do. This is the work I do.
Did you not hear me say 4 agreements at the top? Listen, that is why we have them. I'm not saying. I'm telling you what is happening here. I heard said out of my own mouth. Watch the replay. Is she watching the same broadcast that we're in? Is she somewhere else? I am telling you. everything that is, if it can happen in this nucleus, how dare we be surprised at what's happening out on the war zone?
Right.
Not surprised, just speaking about it.
But you're
Openly.
speaking about the focus of the negative. We need to focus about the humanity. The reason why we're all
But
on
the
this
thing
platform right
is,
now from different age groups, different backgrounds, different creeds.
I'm not the one, but it's okay. So how do you control other people's negativity? What you're
I'm not
saying is,
controlling
what I'm
anybody.
hearing y'all say is this. Okay, so when someone calls you with an N word or whatever the case is, just brush it on off. I can do that.
Nobody said that. Nobody's making making any assumptions here. We're speaking from experience, which experience propels relationships and resonance with our audience. We are going through and sharing our personal experiences of what each and every one of us does. On the first day I came on the show, I had said this, and for all y'all, you can check the playback. I said, we can keep it as simple as this. In your mind right now, think of these 5 people: a nurse, a cop, a baker, a sanitation worker, and somebody at the lemonade stand. Now erase your minds, because all of you have a certain character, a certain person that has that, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. So going back to the 4 agreements, being impeccable with your word, that is number 1. What you say is what you emulate. Words are spells. If you don't know that, now we know that. Number 2, to do, not take anything personal. We are here as warriors to share the message, and our mission is to service others, as Stephen had said, to be part and unite, as Nick has brought, to understand that there's different levels, as Andrea spoke, and that we must be a person of individuality and character and authenticity, as Dr. Loren has stated. And if we don't abide by these 4 rules, then we are just literally showing the world right now, it's still existing, that we're not proactive. We're being now inactive and preventative.
Either way, whether it's positive energy we're giving out or negative energy we're giving out, it's a choice.
It's a choice.
That's simple.
Right, but I'm not. I'm talking about other people's behavior against another person. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, Andrea.
How do you deal with that?
I think
we could be upstanding.
Andrea, can I answer that?
We could be everything that y'all say as individuals. As individuals, but it's not even. It's people outside of you. You have no control of them.
Right. Let me answer that, Andrea. Then we'll go over to Nick.
Yes.
But let me answer that, and we'll go over to Nick. How do you control someone else's behavior towards you? You don't. You don't. Because end of the day, because the massive society do give out that negative energy. I've now learned, I have taken it personally. I think all of us sat here today, and everyone in the comments, have taken it personally from time to time. But now we're manifesting it into a positive. We use that negative as stepping stones to where we want to be in life. We don't let that impact us anymore. Because at the end of the day, like I said to my kids, their kind of behavior, if they want to give out negative energy, well, I'm sorry, but that's their problem, not yours. Don't let other people's choices impact you and what you want to do.
If I just follow that, I think, of course, if people say awful things, it's upsetting, and we have a right to be upset if people treat us badly. But I think if you look at, for example, Les Brown does share a lot of personal stories, and he's been through a tough childhood and upbringing, and he's experienced racism and violence and all sorts of incredible things. You hear his stories, but what does he do? He inspires others. He shares his integrity and his values. He inspires others, and that's that's the point, isn't it? That he does. When people treated him badly in his life, Les Brown got upset by it, but he has developed the values he's got and uses his experiences to inspire others, and that's what that's
exactly, Nick. I want to bounce off that. I'm just going to pick on Dr. Loren here for first time ever. It's like, look at his story. He's been bounced back, around the foster system, God knows how many times. He's not had a good childhood either. But now look, he's sat here with his own bathrobe moments, his own podcast. He's got a freaking PhD now. That shows he's moved on from that past. And he's now an inspiring advocate for what he wants to do with his mission and message.
And
that's what it is. It's carving out your own identity through lifestyle.
Exactly.
That's what you do, and that's a choice. You carve out your own identity through life's adversities. If you've experienced it, if you've lived it, if you've gone through, that gives you credibility and the opportunity to help somebody else go through it as well.
And here we go. So I'm gonna tell you this, and this is for real. My last thing I'm saying, because I have something I have to be at, and it's out of the house. So I'll say this, because it came up. Les' name kept coming up, then the PhD part, and Dr. Lauren, this and the other. Well, what a lot of people don't know is, you just Nick was saying how Les has those stories, and then you said Adam Lauren's got the story. Well, yeah, and guess what? Dr. Les and Dr. Lauren, Les and I got our honorary doctorates on the same day in the same room at the same time.
I've seen the live videos. I've seen them.
That's right. We were in the same class when we got our honorary doctorate. And I saw him when I was in my darkest. He's a couple decades ahead of me in this world. But here we are. He's in my phone and I in his. And we are peers. We are brothers. We just are. And so I want to say this. This is what I'm going to leave you with. I keep one of these on my desk. Because when I'm in a conversation or listening to a conversation, if I'm sitting here and I want to make sure I'm pouring the right thing back in, I avert my eyes down. If what is going on, what is coming at me is healthy, I will look at healthy. If what is coming at me is unhealthy for me, I will look at unhealthy. If what's coming out of my mouth is unhealthy, I will look at unhealthy. If what is coming out of my mouth is healthy and I look at this, it is healthy. And I'm going to tell you why this is so important to know the difference. Because when you know what's coming at you is healthy and what's coming from you is healthy, this is what people are getting. Heal thyself. Follow the clues.
It's all in the words, people.
Right. Follow the clues. You mentioned.
Go on, Stephen. You're about to say something.
Last thing, because I got to go. I just want to say this to you. And Andrea, you were right when you mentioned Bruce Lee about spells, words, spelling. All I'm saying is catch these clues, you all. Be brighter. Be brighter. When you wake up, look for one E and one R. You are already if you're nice, become nicer. If you're bright, become brighter. You're already great, become greater. And make someone else choose how do you make someone else choose what you have just done? Because you make it so freaking irresistible. Now they truly have no choice and every choice all at the same time. That is purpose. That is divineness. That is everything that got you here. All of us here, every single one of us here had to go through a lot to put us in this divine place at this time. So remember that, seriously. And remember, we are here together to heal, not to fight, not to let something come in and tear it. But we gave a great example today that even with the best intentions, look at it. It was in here with us, even in its own form, within each of us. Adam, you were absolutely right that during this thing, each one of us felt some kind of way. Every last one of them. And we always will. That's why we're still in it. And the ing is still working. We are still human beings. Becoming. We're in the process. As long as that happens, you're not a human done. And that means you're never done. Keep going, keep growing, and keep showing.
Exactly. So
thank you for having me.
All right.
Love you guys. And all of you, I want all of you to come on my show as soon as possible. Adam
I'm due on the 27th of November. Do I know the topic? No. What is it?
Bring this whole group, and we'll do a show together on Bathrobe Moment.
I actually have to go myself, so I'll leave you with this. Follow your heart, not the herd nor the hurt, for success is on the other side. And if you act with integrity and authenticity, you will never fail. But don't fear failing, because failing is moving forward. Thank you, everyone. An honor, privilege, and pleasure to be here, everyone.
I love you, Adam. Bye, Andrea. I love you too.
Take care, guys.
Bye,
Yeah.
Stephen.
Bye, you too.
Very good to see you.
Same here.
I'll just maybe leave my sort of final thoughts. I think the ultimate power in life is being able to inspire and influence others. I think that is such a powerful thing, and we underplay the power of that. If you can influence and inspire other people, and yes, we can't inspire and influence everyone, and we should have a right to, like I said earlier, react to people who influence us negatively. But if we can influence and inspire other people, that is the most powerful thing we can do. And I think things like this today, it's like a ripple effect, isn't it? We've made connections. People watch this, it spreads the word, and hopefully, it inspires and influences other people. But I think we should never underestimate the power of what we say and do to influence and inspire other people. And I think that's something that's quite key.
Exactly. Go on, Stephen.
It's the power of kindness. That's all I want to say. That's what I bring.
Awesome.
That's what I bring. I bring kindness. I teach children how to be kind to one another. So I like what you had to say, Nick. It is what you bring to the table, but I'm talking about, I did get into the grid about what it may feel like on the, you know what I'm saying? And the receiving end, you could do all these wonderful things, but we're human beings and we have a heart. That's all I'm saying. It does matter.
Absolutely. So let's wrap this up. I'm going to start with you, Stephen.
I just want to say thank you to our guests, Andrea, Nick, and of course, Dr. Lauren, and yourself there, Adam, for joining or letting me join. I really like this. It's really good. I believe in the mental health warriors. We're here to support you folks. We want you to share this video out to all your friends, tell people about this. And I think authenticity is the best part of it, because when you're authentic, then you're really being real. None of this, when the doors close and the camera goes off thing and you turn around and whatever it might be. I found that when I'm authentic, that life is better. Is this an easy road? No, it's not an easy road. But more love will help not only ourselves, but others. So much for listening to me.
Absolutely. Nick?
No, authenticity. I mean, if whatever we do, if we genuinely believe we're being authentic, then our actions will reflect our values and have the best effect in life we can be. If we're authentic in everything we do, then everything we do will be the right thing. We're doing the right thing because we're being true to ourselves. We're doing what we believe in. We're being hopefully got good values. And I think authenticity is key to everything, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Andrea?
I want to just say thank you to all of our guests that came today. This was a hard subject. It's not easy, and I think we all and you all did a great job. You're helping me to see things in maybe in different ways too. I do take on other perspectives, but I want to thank y'all for coming and not running away from this subject matter, but running to it. Thank you.
Absolutely. And that's what it's all about, is mute yourself, Andrea. It's all about delivering that authenticity. And I think, yes, this podcast did get a little bit heated, and there were a little bit of discussions for right and wrong. I understand that, but we all came back together. And I think that was absolutely powerful, because that shows people from all over the world. We've got Nebraska, we've got another part of America, we've got Chicago, we've got me and Nick in the UK, we've got Sarasota, Florida. It just shows the community what this can do. It's just absolutely powerful. So I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you all for tuning in. Please share the shit out of this video, because I don't think we've heard the last of this kind of topic. I don't think we have. And I know Andrea's going to be bringing that guest who's supposed to turn up tonight. I'm sure she's going to be shouting at her. But please tune in next week. I'm not going to be dressed like this. Andrea's not going to be dressed like that. we are going to be dressed up for Halloween, for a Halloween special. I'm not going to give away what I'm going to be as, but if you want to see it, tune in next week, 8 p.m. UK, where we are going to be welcoming Nancy Nance, who's been on before, and we're going to be welcoming the No Excuses coach, Christopher Rausch, and we're going to be talking about why we make excuses for ourselves. Just like that. So please, guys, thank you all. Subscribe, and share. And I'll see you all next week. See you later.
All right.